Hey, so I want to talk to you about when safe places aren't actually safe. So I want to start with some basics. What is a safe place? It certainly is a punchline of a lot of jokes these days. But let's break it down a bit. We hear it all the time. This is a safe place. Let's say it together. Safe faces, safe places. It's kind of a punchliney thing right now. But in all reality, we say this is a safe place and I'm a safe person to talk to about your stressors and traumas. We see safe place signs at Quick Trip. We hear counselors say their office is a safe place to talk. And certainly, we as clinicians want to create a sense of safety for our clients to express themselves. In sessions, of course, I want to provide both a physical and a mental emotional space where a person's autonomic nervous system can calm down enough for them to be able to share their thoughts, feelings, memories, and somatic impressions, and soon gain healing, of course. I had better authentically be a safe person for them, or I am bait and switching them, and that is dead wrong, and not to mention highly unethical. So, a safe place can be wherever there's actually safe people in a safe environment, clearly. At church today, I heard a pastor say that the young adult group is a safe place for its members and that they'd soon be discussing anxiety, which as a therapist I think is vital, so I'm happy to hear that. And of course, I hope that can be a safe place for that group of individuals so that they can share and attune to one another, which is an awesome aspect of fellowship. Sadly, I'll never know because I'm way out of the young adult set. But we want safe churches, schools, shelters, businesses, and so on for our communities, of course. And this is why counselors go through rigorous education, training, testing, thousands and thousands of training hours, supervision hours, and continuing education hours. And then we're held accountable by the state and at times other accreditation entities. But even with all that, it's so important for a person to sense intuitively that a counselor or helper of any kind is actually authentically safe for them. So let's look at some attributes of a safe place. And this list is super limited. There can be so many more safe attributes. This is a painting I'm working on behind me. I feel like I'm never going to finish. And this is my cat Digger. He is just a sweetheart, if you hadn't noticed. He's my safe place. He's my therapy kitty. So a safe place is a place where, or these are some attributes, a place where a person can get away from harm. The safe place signs at Quick Trip are actually meant to help guide teens and others to trained advocates in the area and to actually get them to physical safety. And it can be a place like this or an abuse shelter. Or a trustworthy friend or family can be a part of this physical safety component. And then a safe place can be a place where someone can go to gain a sense of emotional release and relief. And again, trust is imperative with that cat hair in my lip gloss. So, thanks, Tigger. You're welcome. A place where a person can have choices. As I work with Dr. Moore at his Neural Pathways Learning Center and read more about the nervous system, I have learned that choices are a big deal. The choice to look around a room gives my nervous system time to familiarize myself with it. But if I'm told, go here, sit there, it can really raise that level of anxiety for me. So being given the choice to leave and use the restroom if needed, things like that, help me not feel so trapped if I'm already feeling panicky. So choices really matter. A place where people can feel their physical bodies calm down, like give that I can lean back in this chair. I feel so safe with this environment and with this room that I can really lean back in my chair. I don't feel like I have to sit on the edge of my seat kind of thing. And that can come with time. And then safe places and people can sometimes mean a person is competent, educated, resourced, about what you're going through and what your needs are. Safety can mean that a person will refer you to a better helper or a helper that has better expertise, different expertise. Sorry, my husband's texting me. I'm not giving you much choice, am I, Digger? I better let you go if you want. So he's going to teach for a second, it looks like. And then, sorry, I lost my place because of Digger. So safety also can mean that a person or persons won't hold oppressive authority over you and allows equality within the relationship if possible. Clearly, that's not always possible if it's a child-parent relationship. There's going to be some authority restrictions there. But if it's a adult-to-adult relationship, obviously we're going to not hold the oppressive authority over the individual. And clearly the kid, we don't want the person to hold oppressive authority, barbarian authority over the child, or abuse over the child either, or the elderly persons or disabled persons, right? So safety means I won't harm you or do something to you without your consent, or without my consent. Safe people will help you learn about yourself and allow you to learn about your environment. So we're trying to instill a sense of autonomy in the person. They won't hold power and control over your mind or body in the name of safety. Safe people won't ask that you watch or agree with their abuse to others. That can even look like a safe person's not going to ask a child to watch porn with them, because that would be a breach of that child's sense of safety, because a ton of research shows that that's very shocking to the brain, things like that. On the contrary, an unsafe person tells you that they are safe, but then abuses you. Kind of the old, I love you, now you have to let me use you and abuse you routine. That's not love, nor is it safe. So an unsafe person is inauthentic if they're telling you that they're safe, but then they're abusing you, obviously. As we are creating a safe environment for others, it's vital as those who are providing that place also get a hold or a sense of that safety for themselves. My lamp just went out. Man, this environment, this set that I've created is just faulty. Cat hair and faulty lights, goodness gracious. But I totally set this up because, it was already here, but I set my chair here because, for fun. So you can look at the painting I'm never going to finish, I guess. It's taking forever. In grad school, wait, let me see if I finished that. As we are creating a safe environment for others, it's vital as those who are providing that place that we also get a sense of safety for ourselves. So let me explain that. Whether you're a family member, a therapist, a friend, a pastor, if I, as a helper, trying to help another person feel safe, if I can't feel safe with that person, for whatever reasons, odds are that neither person in the party at this point is feeling or is getting help. Because how can I help you if I don't even feel safe with you? Does that make sense? So in grad school, it was emphasized, for instance, that I get to take my values, my beliefs, my morals into the therapy room with me. I also get to take my boundaries into the therapy room with me. I'm allowed to create a safe environment for another while also being allowed to hold my own feelings and opinions about things. I get to feel safe within my own boundaries too. Just because I'm your helper, whether that I'm helping you get out of a situation, I'm helping, I don't know, you're living with me for a while because your husband's abusing you, or you're living with me for a while because you can't pay your bills. That doesn't mean that you get to abuse me, oppress me, take advantage of me, right? Then I become codependent with you, and this whole safety thing just fell through, didn't it? So a sense of safety means I get to hold boundaries too. If, for instance, you're dealing with somebody in your world who is abusing a substance of some kind, and they just keep coming to you for money, or they keep coming to you and telling you, oh, but I love you, you're the only one that can help me, and you're trying to be that safe person for them, but they're not being that safe person for you, this could be quite easily a codependent relationship, and that's not helping anybody. It's not helping you, it's not helping them, and something's got to change. So once again, I get to feel safe within my own boundaries too. When others are sharing with me something that they want, for instance, and in my heart I disagree, I get to hold that value within myself and let that be okay. Let me explain that for a second. If I'm in a session with a person in my room and I disagree with the behavior that they're doing, I get to hold that within myself. I don't immediately have to go, oh, they're probably right, that's probably okay. I don't have to validate that behavior. I get to, within myself as a clinician, say, yeah, but I wouldn't do that. That's my right to do that, isn't it? It's my my ability to hold my own values. So that's important. So I actually get to share with others how I feel in certain relationships, right? And I get to share how my hopes to feel safe within the relationship as well. Furthermore, if the person I'm trying to support in or out of a clinical relationship begins to put me down, shame me, berate me, belittle me, the environment is also no longer a safe one. So beyond like physical abuse behavior, you also don't get to just start hurting me because I'm here to help you. So that's, I think, a really important thing too. And at this point, I would need to set up some verbal and maybe even some physical parameters as safeguards for myself, because I am just as worthwhile and just as important as that person I get to exist within the relationship as well. So I'm not going to allow that behavior to continue with me. I'm going to hold up some boundaries. So safety goes both ways. You need to feel safe. Well, guess what? So do I. So I'm going to create some perimeters to ensure that that happens. And then in a group setting, so for instance, if we did group counseling or if we're just in a group setting, we can only feel at our safest when there's mutual respect and trust. Things that can break trust with one another can be breaches of confidentiality outside of like a therapy group or hidden agendas within the group, just to name a couple. And it's why rules of the group are intuitively helpful. Rules can be things like we don't shame one another or name call each other. Remember before I said that safe people won't ask you to watch or agree with abuse to others, so a group leader would also be a safe person that would stop bullying behaviors within a group. Right, so because if the tone is set by, oh my goodness, look at all this cat hair. If the tone is set by the leader and the leader is not putting a stop to things that are harmful, then no one's going to feel safe. The safest person in the room is going to be the bully. And that's not safe for anyone. That's not okay, okay? So whether we're dealing with a two-person relationship or a larger collective, we see the same elements of safety needed. On a greater level, if we're going to feel safe within the American system, for instance, the me-you relationship would then be with my government. And I'm going to need to feel that there's mutual respect and fundamental rules within that relationship. For instance, upholding fundamentals of maybe the Constitution or the three branches of government and other principal elements of the democracy that we live in. So safety can really go from like an individual or a dyadic relationship, and it can grow into a full-on national relationship or even a global relationship, right? Having a sense of safety. But I'll say it again, a safe place goes both ways. Boundaries and respect must be experienced for the safety of all parties, whether that's talking about a relationship, a culture, politics, or so on. And to end, I want to remind helpers of this. Please know that if you're trying to help someone but they are harming you, this isn't a safe relationship. If you're going to be harmed, or if you're being harmed, how are you able to continue to help this person? It is okay to have boundaries. Sometimes we aren't sure if we're being hurt and the lines seem unclear, and that might be a little bit more on the psychological abuse side. Those are the trickiest, right? So maybe you don't have bruises and aren't feeling physically or being physically assaulted, and you would have evidence if you were, but you intuitively feel like something's just not right. That can feel like confusion, intense guilt, shame, dread for the next day. It can go into depression, anxiety stuff, like the emotional hurt stuff. It's worth checking out with a competent helper, like a trustworthy family member, a pastor, or a friend, or therapist. And then finally, I kind of just want to say again, helpers, listeners, and people of compassion, hold your values. Allow yourselves to have healthy boundaries. You get to exist in the relationship too. It's not just all about the person you're helping. You also get to exist in the relationship. Beware of being used as a scapegoat, or as I like to say, the dirty laundry basket, where the other party doesn't have to hold or carry their own stuff or their shame. They kind of expect that you're going to carry their hold yourself accountable for their mistakes or their drama or their financial issues or whatever it is. You're the one holding all of it because you're the one that's being the helper, and that's not a safe relationship for them or for you. Do you know what I'm saying? I want you to exist in the relationship too. That is all. This was a big thought bubble in the making this evening, and I just had to get it out, but I just thought it'd be a fun place to sit in front of my painting that I'm never finishing. Anyways, have a lovely night. I hope this helped somebody out there, and it's always something that's on my heart, these kinds of things. So thanks for listening. Bye.